Hello, welcome to my first pregnancy video. I'm recording this video on the June bank holiday 16. I'm currently 18 weeks pregnant. I'm due the first week in November. So for anyone who doesn't know me, this is my second pregnancy. My first baby is going to be 2 at the end of July. So we're very excited to be welcoming a baby brother or sister for him in November. So I'm hoping over the course of the pregnancy to record a few of these videos. They're updates, but I'll be probably dealing with different kind of topics in relation to pregnancy, health and fitness in each video. And then maybe we'll say about once a month I'll do a kind of an update of where I'm at and how I'm feeling in my pregnancy. The reason I wanted to do these pregnancy videos is because 2 years ago when I got pregnant, I had been an instructor for 7 years and I really wanted to keep as fit and healthy as I possibly could. And it just didn't sit well with me that I would have to stop exercising when I was just about to prepare for one of the most physical things my body would ever go through. Even though my doctors all the way along, but most of my doctors they haven't said not to exercise, but nobody really in the Irish prenatal system was giving me any information about what I could do, what I couldn't do, should do, shouldn't do. So it was really down to myself to find out these things, and so I did. I basically went off and I read everything I could read, and I looked at all the latest research and studies, and really, to be honest, I looked towards America and Australia because while pregnancy exercise is becoming more popular in Ireland, it wasn't that popular even 2 years ago, whereas it has been kind of mainstream for a while in those countries. So I looked to the American Council of Sports Medicine and the American Council of Gynecologists as well. I'll put links up for my kind of go-to documents that I follow and their instructions. Generally, the feedback was really good, or the information was all very positive. All the studies were saying that keeping fit during pregnancy was a positive thing, that women should be encouraged to keep fit where their pregnancy was safe and progressing healthily and as normal. So the advice is always to get your doctor's clearance, okay, which I'll come back to in a minute, but get your doctor's clearance. If you're having a healthy pregnancy, then you go ahead with exercise. What exercise you do depends on what you did before you got pregnant. So you tend to stick to the sort of level that you had been at pre-pregnancy, and then as your pregnancy progresses, you modify your exercises to make them more suitable. There are some types of exercises that are not recommended during pregnancy, but they're very obvious. Things like contact sports, scuba diving, mountain climbing, all those things are on those documents that I put onto the blog post for this anyway. But in relation to all other types of exercise, it was the message that I was reading was really good and really positive and stay going. The changes you make would be in relation to, well, if you're lifting, X weight beforehand, you would slowly bring that weight down throughout your pregnancy because your body is not obviously going to be able to lift the same sort of level of weight. If you were running, you reduce speeds, and over time you reduce your distance. So, for example, when I got pregnant with Frankie, I had just completed 2 half marathons. So for the first, I was sick enough the first trimester, I didn't do a whole pile of running, but we'll say for most of trimester 2, I would have ran up to about 10 kilometres, and then by the time I got into trimester 3, I cut it back to a maximum of 5, but I stayed running 5 kilometres right up until very, close to the end of my pregnancy. Again, that's another or another video I hope to do where I'll talk about what I actually did in my last pregnancy, and I've done blog posts before, so I will link them with this video post as well. So just in relation to getting your doctor's permission, while I 100% support that obviously you have to get doctor's permission, your doctor is the person who knows if you have any conditions that would prevent you from exercising. I do also always warn women that not all doctors are equally knowledgeable about exercise during pregnancy. Not all doctors know the up-to-date information, and some of them are quite slow to encourage women to continue to exercise. If you are having a normal, healthy pregnancy and your doctor is telling you that you shouldn't exercise, I would question that. I would ask why, and I would, if you're very enthusiastic about staying exercising, I would, explain this to your doctor because, like I said, all the studies are showing that it's good. It's actually really positive for both your pregnancy and your labour, for you, for your baby, gestational diabetes, all the different pregnancy issues that come up. Exercise seems to be helping to prevent those things. Obviously it has to be done carefully and under supervision as well is also my advice. If you can find a pregnancy specialist in fitness, do, and go to them, and they'll be your best friend, and they'll tailor everything for you. But yeah, just to be aware that not all doctors are made equal. But that's the same for every everything medical thing that we have in life. Not all doctors are made the same. If you're following me on Facebook or Instagram, you might have seen that I am planning to start a private pregnancy fitness group on Facebook. Okay, and that's the plan. I'm hoping to get that up and running tomorrow. So what's going to happen is any videos that I make, I will be putting them up onto the blog section of the Fit with Brid website. The video will go up, and then with it any additional links for anything that I talk about that I refer you to. Sometimes I might need to put up pictures if I'm referring to specific exercises or stretches. But yeah, they will all go up on the blog for general viewing. But what I'm also doing is I'm going to be shooting 3 or 4 pregnancy fitness videos throughout my pregnancy. Now they're quite professionally made, they're like the videos that go with my online courses, and they will only be available to people who join the private Facebook group. So in terms of who can join the private Facebook group, it's not just open to people who are currently pregnant. I mean, if you're somebody who has been pregnant, maybe you're going to get pregnant again, maybe you've never been pregnant, but you're thinking of down the line when you do get pregnant that you'd like to know more about keeping fit during pregnancy. That's what this group is for. So you are very welcome to join. And I just want to make clear that if you're not yet pregnant and you join the group, it's not automatically assumed that you are pregnant either. I mean, 5 years ago, if somebody had mentioned to me that they were starting a pregnancy fitness group, I'd have been all for joining that group because I'd wanted to know everything about it, just in general. So any of my fitness colleagues that want to know more, you're welcome to join too. I won't be allowing men into the group because I want women to be able to talk in there and to be able to ask and answer questions, about some of the tricky subjects that you wouldn't necessarily want a man reading. But again, if I have any male fitness colleagues that are interested in the information that's going in there, please do email me because I'd love to let you know more if it's an area that you do want to know more about. Because if you are instructing women and you want to be able to help more women to stay fit and healthy during their pregnancy, I'd love to be able to help you as well. The pregnancy exercise videos will be dealing with exercises that are specifically helpful for the sort of things that occur during pregnancy, so postural issues and things like that. So they're specific pregnancy tailored exercises, and yeah, they'll be part of that. So I suppose I'll talk a little bit in this video about my pregnancy progression so far. As I said, I'm 18 weeks now at this stage, and this is my second pregnancy. So my first pregnancy was a very, very positive, nice experience. I had no issues the whole way through, and labour was as good as could be expected. I'll do a video post specifically on labour down the line. It's not everyone wants to hear about labour, so I leave that one separate, and then people can choose to watch that one if they want. But yeah, I had a very positive experience with my first pregnancy. Things didn't start out as well this time. While I got pregnant straight away last time, this time I struggled, and it was nearly 6 months before I got pregnant. So I was starting to get to that stage where I was a bit like, oh, and I'm kind of limited because I'm in between different college courses at the minute. So I kind of had a time. I'm kind of a schedule person, and this baby didn't really stick to our schedule. But anyway, we're happy. There's plenty of people who don't get that far at all. So I'm very blessed. But yes, week 6 to 12, I was extremely sick, but not actually getting sick again. Just feeling really, really crap and really, really tired. And it didn't help that between those kind of same weeks, Frankie was getting teeth, and he normally sleeps brilliantly, but he was like up all night, every night. We were getting so little sleep, and it was just the worst time possible. But look, we got through it. Food wise, it was a disaster. I have quite a healthy diet. I know how to let loose, but I would probably eat healthily 5 or 6 days a week, and then have 1 or 2 days where I kind of let loose. And I normally eat a lot of things like protein. I'd eat a lot of eggs, fish, nuts, seeds, that sort of thing. It was just pure carbohydrates. I would have porridge, breakfast cereal, bread, pasta. I was having frozen pizzas for dinner like 3 and 4 nights a week, but I just couldn't stomach anything other than very plain carbohydrates for ages. in terms of exercise, energy levels were so low, and I was in the middle of teaching classes at the time, so it was very, very hard because obviously I couldn't tell people either. So I was trying to outwardly display plenty of energy, but inwardly felt awful. But you know what? It came to about 12 weeks, and it just, like always, it just passed. It passed, and by 14 weeks, I was feeling really good and back in the swing of things. But yeah, while I was eating like that and not getting to exercise a whole pile, I felt crap. I just felt so drained of energy. I felt like I just felt so bloated all the time, and it was just really horrible. It just wasn't the way I like to kind of feel in general. But you know, I got past it and it was fine. I was starting to put on a good bit of weight at that stage as well. And like, while I'm even in general outside of pregnancy, I'm not a body weight person. I don't mind too much about body weight. I just like to be healthy in myself. You know, I was. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't concerned that I was going to pile on the weight. But luckily that didn't happen. Like I said, when I got to between 12 and 14 weeks, I was able to start exercising again. I was able to start eating right, and you know, things slowed down, and the weight gain slowed down. But just on that, I will do a video specifically in relation to weight gain during pregnancy, because I know it's a subject that is kind of delicate for a lot of women, because while it's inevitable that we're going to gain weight during pregnancy, you know, there's kind of a little bit of misunderstanding around how much we have to gain. I won't get into that too much here, but expect a video on that down the line. So like I said, I'm due the first week in November. I go to Portlaoise General Hospital. I went there with Frankie as well in 2014, and I have to say I got outstanding care the whole way through, prenatal and postnatal. I have no complaints at all. I go public, so yeah, no complaints. That's the way I do it. And that's it. You may have noticed that my background changed a couple of times throughout. When I shot it the first time in good light, I played it back and the video skipped in a few places, and the second time my little man was asleep upstairs, or is asleep right now upstairs, so I had to shoot it in the kitchen, which unfortunately the light is not as good, but look, we'll do our best. So yeah, that's it, and looking forward to making the videos and looking forward to hearing from you all. Thanks a mil, bye.